Lowering the bar, literally. San Francisco is scrapping a radical new grading program because it got too much heat, even from its most progressive residents. It's called Grading for Equity. No more homework, no more tests. Students can pass with just a 41%. Only one final exam, and you can retake it as many times as you want. Imagine if our doctors and lawyers did that. The plan was rolled out with no public vote, impacting more than 10,000 students across 14 public high schools. I guess the good news is, Kevin, we're scrapping this. But what's scary to me is we learned during COVID that this doesn't work. You had a slew, maybe Dartmouth, correct me if I'm wrong, a slew of elite universities who actually said, we need SATs again because it's doing the opposite effect of scrapping all of these merit-based programs. Why now, or did we even think for a second that this was a good idea?
This is proof positive that California policy leads the charge in the idiot index. There's no question about it. This is complete stupidity. And it's this kind of thing over and over and over again that somehow in the water gets people to think that these ideas are good. This is sheer insanity because in this country to advance into college or into any post-secondary platform, you have to pass the math and reading scores. There's no 50 times take it over and over again. This proves that the teachers there are probably heavily unionized and are crappy teachers. And they even endorse this idea, and I argue, and I know I take a lot of heat for this, a third of the teachers that sit under a union platform, including in California, are crap. They're not good, and they should be fired. And this is evidence of it saying, well, let's just let the kids keep doing the test over and over and over and over again. That's sheer stupidity. But the best stupid ideas always start in California. And they just try and manifest themselves. But now they're bouncing off the border because people are saying, sorry, that was too stupid. That's the stupidity index factor 10. It's insane.
Well, and Jackie, I think what gets me is I don't hear about these programs in China and Russia. They're coding, they're researching, they're telling their kids, hold your breath for 30 seconds underwater and figure out how to untie your hands behind your back type stuff. They're in it to win it.
Absolutely. And so you watch this playing out in the United States and California specifically. And for those people who are talking about Gavin Newsom, the leader of the great state, potentially running for president, dig into some of the things that's going on, that are happening there, not just budget-wise, but this is a prime example. It's just utter nonsense. And that's why people are leaving the state. And to a certain point, I'm so tired of arguing how dumb they are. I totally hear you and do not agree with this, but I'm like, knock yourself out. You know what? You want your kids to be stupid. You want your kids not to be competitive. You want them not to get to the next level. Live in California. I can't help people who don't want to be helped.
Brian, professor.
Ooh, well, you know, they always do these equity things because they say they care for the kids and they love the kids and they want to help them. But of course, everybody knows the least caring, least loving thing you could ever do for a child in need is lower the expectations for what they can accomplish. Because what you then do is relegate them to the life that they're in now. And even, I give credit here, this is not Gavin Newsom, but even Ro Khanna, Representative Ro Khanna, said giving A's for 80% and no homework is not equity. It betrays the American dream and every parent who wants more for their kids. I mean, that is true. You betray kids when you tell them they can't do what another kid can do, and you guarantee that they will never rise to that level.
Maybe we should go back to Spinal Tap, that movie where they finally got an amplifier to 11. Maybe California can get the idiot index past 10 to 11. It goes to 11. This proves it.
Dagan, I'll give you a final word. I have to give a shout out to my criminal law professor. I've told this story before. I failed the midterm, and he looked at me and he said, if you fail criminal law, you're going to fail the bar. So either pass criminal law or drop out of law school and save yourself $100,000 in 3 years of your life. And that was the best wake-up call I did. So I had to figure out how to pass criminal law, because you're right. If you can't pass criminal law, you can't pass the bar. What are you doing in law school? That was the best advice he gave me.
We should point out that the San Francisco superintendent scrapped this equity grading idea one day after it was unveiled. One day, because it is a race to the bottom for children. It is a dumbing down of all of the kids who deserve a decent education. This is intentionally designed, or was, to crush the dreams and hopes and futures of kids living in California and to make them as stupid and lazy as the teachers who are in the unions educating them, because I think that's actually what it's about. It's not about equity and like not outcome but opportunity.
Kevin,
right?
You're not stupid or lazy. You get to hang out with us for another
cut.
hour. He makes the cut. We're coming right back.
That's why I have 2 watches, 2 hours.